Hello, this is Lisa Phillips, and welcome to my newsletter at affordablerealestateinvestments.com, where I give you honest and practical guide to real estate investing at a price you can afford. I just wanted to briefly introduce myself and tell you what my credentials are in the real estate investing world. I currently have 3 properties bringing in $2,500 a month, and I invested a total of $122,000 into them. 2 of them will be paid off September 2015, and the third one will be paid off August 2016. And the reason I got started with this is because I didn't have access to traditional financing and mortgages. So if you do have that, you're already ahead of me. So I wanted to do real estate investing, and without all this access to different financing, you had to be really creative to come up with ways to pay for things in a disciplined manner so that you can obtain your goals without being extremely over leveraged. And I want to share with you, the community, what I didn't have when I was going through it. There's a lot of real estate investing advice, but sometimes it's 3,000 feet high, when all I really needed was like a small detail answered, because I wasn't sure if I made this small decision if I'd lose money or if I'd gain money on the end, but I knew it would have an effect either up or down. And sometimes you just need a practical and honest way of someone saying that. And when I say honest, I mean honest. I'm not going to just tell you the good. I'm going to tell you the good and the bad. But don't worry, the bad can be mitigated as long as you have a clear head and just take steps to circumvent any obstacles that you might encounter. And some are obvious and are easy to overcome. So my strategy is to buy houses that cost under $30,000. So as I mentioned, I didn't have access to traditional financing, so you had to hustle and figure out different people who can give you money at what interest rates, and had to decide if you would want to go forward with that or not. But I started where I could afford, since I had to pay a lot of it out of pocket. And where I could afford was under $30,000. But, and here's the but, this is where I found out there are a ton of benefits, and it's not that hard to invest in a neighborhood like this than in something that's a little bit more higher priced. The strategy I've developed, gives me a little bit of comfort and security. So if like 2 or 3 years later I lose my job, I have a source of income. At worst, I have a house. And not only that, it provides a safety blanket. It provides a source of retirement funds. And the sooner you start, and at these prices, you can start sooner, the more it just snowballs year after year into a healthy profit so that you can quit your job one day. And please, I put this in the newsline subject because it's very important. Please fill out the survey. I really need your help with this. I need to know exactly what you want to see and what you want to hear. And the good thing about this is that if you submit, the very first question asks you what you would like to discuss on this blog, what question you have burning. And the great part about it is that I'd see this immediately, and I would line it up as far as giving you the content and answering your questions in any way I can. And if I can't, I definitely have guest real estate investors who have solved the problem and can give you one of the solutions that works for them. So this is very important. I need to know what you want. I need to know what kind of people you are, and really what motivates you in real estate investing, so I can more accurately tailor my content to what you want. And the last note I wanted to say is that not only are the financial benefits great, I make $900 off a house that I paid, $13,000 for. Whereas people make $900 a month off of houses they paid $125,000 for. That's a big deal. The engineering in me loves the numbers, and it's like this, you just can't beat it. I pay off my house sooner. One house is already paid off. It's paying off the second one. That's $800 a month. That's, after expenses. That is fantastic. You can't ask for more than that. But there's more than just money. What really makes me excited is what I tell people, you go into overlooked neighborhoods. Now I'm going to give you very strict search criteria for you to go into these neighborhoods. So before you even leave your house, you're going to be comfortable. You're going to know really what the house looks like. You're going to know how viable it is as a real estate investment. Before you step foot there, if you follow my just practical advice, and the advice I'm going to give you is going to go, oh, why didn't I think of that? It's really just down to earth. It's not extreme, but it makes sense for the things you should look at. These particular criteria if you're looking for houses under $30,000. But you go into these communities and, you know, you might have in your mind that it might be a certain way because the home prices are depressed, but you get there and you realize it's a working class neighborhood. Everyone here has job. Everyone here has kids who will be going to college. Like, it's no different than the neighborhood you probably grew up in. And what's great about it is that we give back more than any government program could ever try to do. We give back more than any nonprofit can do, because we take our money and we invest it in a neighborhood that hasn't seen any investment. And it sparks a sense of pride. The neighbors come out and talk. You know, they're interested, they're excited, and it gives them a sense of pride. So you give back to communities, you give shelter. The most basic security that people need is shelter. You know, it's just the most basic thing that they all need. And you're going to make the house to your standards. So it's going to be a nice place for anyone to live, including yourself. You're going to put in hardworking tenants. You're going to follow my advice and put tenants with good rental references who make money so they can afford the rent. And you're changing the neighborhood, you know, and it's also a trigger effect. Whenever you go in these neighborhoods, it wasn't my intention, but when one investor starts investing in a neighborhood, the others follow. It's like a little revolution. So, you know, you find that if you are a pioneer and you go and you have some guts and you go and you face those fears and find out not only is it not that bad, but it's super lucrative, but you give back to communities. You better communities more than anyone else does. All the lip service by all the politicians, it's little Lisa Phillips, and it's you know, Sally Mae or Johnny Smith in my audience who goes to the neighborhoods everyone overlooked and fixed up a house, gave, you know, changed the neighborhood, changed the demographic, you know, brought in, you know, set that spark so that other investors come into the neighborhood too. You know, you give back more than anyone else when you do this. So not only is it a very financially rewarding decision, and that can take you to long-term wealth in however long as time as you want to take, but you really give back, and it's an intangible thing, but, you know, people in that neighborhood have a sense of pride, especially if they see other investors coming in, and, you know, it doesn't regress back. You know, in neighborhoods that I came in, that other investors came in, you know, a year or 2 years later, the neighborhood is a lot nicer than it was, and it is not sliding back. And that's the spark that when we go into these communities, we can do and, you know, have a perfectly good time. And, you know, we don't have to stress over it. And we're not worried because it's a $30,000 house that it comes with a million headaches, because we could circumvent that before we even get there. So I just wanted you to know it's an intangible thing that they feel pride. I've noticed you'll see it too. But, you know, you should feel pride. You know, I am very proud of the fact that I can say I change communities. I go into neighborhoods and I respect the people in them, even if I wouldn't necessarily live there. I respect the people there. You know, I give the house the amount of respect. I give my tenants a certain amount of respect. And, you know, I get respect back by the neighbors who see me working hard. But I know I made more of a difference in that neighborhood than any handout could make to anyone else. You know, I'm changing the demographic. I'm forcing the change through my own efforts in private investment. So I just want you to know you're part of this world, and you're going to be part of the people that give back to these communities. And even though that might have necessarily been your intention was just to make a good product that someone would like and rent and pay you for. But you need to understand that that has a very wide-ranging effect in the immediate area, and it could be the entire neighborhood. And just do it and you'll see, you know, if you make it, they will come. And it's a beautiful thing to see, you know, the change that we can create. And so again, thank you very much. This is Lisa Phillips with AffordableRealEstateInvestments.com, where I give you honest and practical guide to real estate investing at a price you can afford. Thank you so, so much for tuning in. Please do not hesitate to get in touch with me for whatever you need. I will definitely respond and get back to you. And let's make this a community. I'm here for you, and I hope you're here for me. Thank you so much.